and change you'll ever get is from God. It's going to come from the Lord, or it's not going to come at all. It's going to come when you admit that you can't do it and that you've got to have His help.
Let me give this story again, because you guys haven't heard this in a long time. You guys ready for this? There was a man who had a rabbit. He loved this rabbit with all of his heart. The rabbit was very young and small. He nurtured this rabbit in his home for a long time. One day, he knew that the rabbit had to be outside sometime. He would see the rabbit looking outside one day. So, this man loved this rabbit, and he was very frightened to let the rabbit in the yard. See, the yard was a big yard, and it was a fenced yard, but he did not want the rabbit to go outside of the fence or get near the fence, because if it did, it would likely be killed by some of the predators outside of the fence line. Every time he had the rabbit would start twitching, trying to get down to explore the yard. But the man loved that rabbit with all of his heart. One day he let the rabbit down to see what it would do. And sure enough, it ran around, and it ran directly to the fence line. As it was trying to push through the fence, the man ran with haste to get it, because he loved the rabbit with all of his heart. He picked up that rabbit, saving it from death. The rabbit didn't understand as the rabbit squirmed, because the rabbit saw no danger, nor perceived any danger. The rabbit squirmed and fought to get back down, but the man would not let the rabbit go, and so he put it back inside. For many days, the rabbit looked outside a glass window, tormented and deeply sorrowful that he could not be out in the grass, which looked so beautiful, so natural for him to be there. So one day, when the rabbit had matured just a little, the man takes the rabbit outside, and he tries it again. And the rabbit walks around, and he's feeding it, and the rabbit's following it. And the man is lifted up in his heart. Maybe this is it. And without notice, with a quickness the man had not experienced in that rabbit, he ran directly for the fence line. This time, the rabbit was stuck. His head was stuck. The man saw the rabbit, and he also heard something beyond the fence, approaching the rabbit with speed. The man loved that rabbit dearly. He ran and ran, jerked the rabbit out of the fence, cut the rabbit behind the ears, and the rabbit was wounded. The rabbit squirmed, both in pain and to be free. At this point, the rabbit yearned to be free, and now he's hurt. The man took him inside, because he loves the rabbit with all of his heart. He mended the rabbit. Over many days, the rabbit healed, but the rabbit seemed depressed. The man loving the rabbit with all of his heart, knowing that if he let that rabbit outside in his own habitat, he would run outside of the fence and he would die. So the man made a leash, and the length on the leash was about 2 inches from the fence line. So the rabbit could run and run, but it could never go beyond the fence. So the first day he lets the rabbit on the leash outside, and the rabbit is full of great joy. Full of joy. He's eating grass and exploring the vegetation, and before you know it, he runs directly for the fence line. And when he gets about an inch away from the fence line, the leash jerks him back violently. The rabbit's unsure what happened, but somehow that rabbit knew he had something on him, and so he takes his hind feet and he tries to kick it off, but he can't. So the man says, "That's enough," and we take the rabbit back in. And the rabbit squirms. It does not want to go inside. The man loves this rabbit with all of his heart. This goes on and on for some years. But the man wants the rabbit to reign freely without the leash. You see, the man loves the rabbit so much that he simply wants the rabbit to stay within the bounds that he provided. And without the leash, the rabbit will run and kill himself. He made the leash because he put limitations on that rabbit on purpose. One day, after years of wearing that leash, the man says, "Well, let's see what happens." And he loves this rabbit with all of his heart, so he takes the leash off, puts the rabbit outside. The rabbit's running around. He's exploring and he's happy. And he takes off for the fence line, and he gets 5 inches, and he stops. And he turns around, and he comes back. And the owner of the rabbit is so happy he did it. So the rabbit does it again the next day. 5 inches from the fence line, the rabbit stops, comes back in. He's not wearing a leash. He's doing this all by himself, and the owner is now satisfied because he loves the rabbit to death. He wants the rabbit to live. So he makes a special thing in the door where the rabbit can now go in and out of his house, knowing that he will never go beyond the fence line, of which there are predators to kill him. Now the rabbit is truly safe. It took many years, but the rabbit is safe. Here's the moral of that story. You guys, a Christian is that rabbit. When we're young, we tend to venture beyond the bounds that the Lord has put us. The Lord loves us with all of his heart. We've been tested to see if we would run out of those bounds, and we did. And there were some cases where we ran out of those bounds and almost killed us. But the Lord embraced us yet again. So what he did to keep us from running outside of those bounds, that leash is called limitations. He began to put limitations on your life, many limitations, so that you wouldn't run outside of the fence and be destroyed. Over time, we too learn without the leash where not to go, what not to do. And at that point, we have truly accepted the Lord's grounds, his place prepared for us, because he loves us with all of his heart.